Guys, what is the difference between a flat white and a latte? In today's video, we are going to answer this question in the most simplest way possible. If you're new here, welcome. My name's Liam from The Basic Barista. We make coffee videos and content around coffee brewing tools, coffee beans, everything coffee. So yeah, definitely check out our other videos. Make sure you hit subscribe if you're interested to see more. But for now, let's get into it. So first of all, when we're talking about coffee orders, we are only talking about coffee orders here in Melbourne, Australia. Coffee is different all over the world. We have different words that mean different things. The most common one is latte, which means milk in Italian. So making sure that we use the correct terminology, particularly when we're in Melbourne, Australia, where we've got so many different coffee orders, will help you heaps. It'd be the perfect time for me to mention that we actually did a video on how to order American coffee here in Melbourne. So definitely check out that video that's been linked. Before we get into this, we first have to ask ourselves, what are these coffees? So first of all, with a flat white, we have a single shot of espresso that's poured into the bottom. Now, this varies between cafe to cafe here. Depending on the coffee they use and their milk to coffee ratio, this will often be an espresso, but sometimes it would be a double ristretto. And what that means is simply you have the same amount of coffee volume, but instead of using just a single split shot from the portafilter, you're actually using the first half of both split shots combined, and this is said to make more of a sweeter, better tasting espresso, but that's debatable. What we do is then we steam up some milk and we texture it. We aim for something that has enough microfoam to give a really nice consistency, but isn't too heavy that makes it that really frothy sort of consistency. And then the reason why we serve it in a cup opposed to a glass is so that we have more space to do our latte art. Pouring latte art in a latte glass can be quite challenging, whereas when you're doing it in a flat white cup or a ceramic mug like this, the wider space actually gives you more room to play with when you're pouring. So that's what a flat white is. So with a latte, we do the same. So we have an espresso down at the bottom or a double ristretto, and then we steam textured milk and we add slightly more foam. Now, this again varies not so much from cafe to cafe, but from barista to barista. So different baristas come in at different sort of experience levels and different ideologies. Unfortunately, there isn't a universal way that we train baristas at the moment, especially in Melbourne. So what we rely on is how we were taught by the first cafe or the first few cafes that we worked at. Now, because we don't have this set of rules per se as to what a flat white or a latte is, we just have to go off what we know. Now, most baristas will add more foam for a latte and less foam for a flat white. Again, this varies on the barista's experience. If a barista doesn't have the most experience, you might end up getting something that has a massive head of foam, and then you get a flat white that has virtually no foam at all. And you'll tell when you move it like this, the foam starts to separate, incorporated into the milk very well at all, and then it will spill over. Yeah, not a fun time. So what you're looking for is a balance between milk that's being commingled and textured the entire way through with a nice surface on top. And then for the latte, you want the same thing, but you want to see that the foam sort of ends at the tip right here, about 1.5 centimeters to 2 centimeters from the top of the glass. Now, one other quick difference that I'm going to add here is how far you fill up the cup. So generally speaking, you actually get more milk in the flat white ceramic cup than you do in the latte. This holds around 250 mils, whereas this is around 200 mils. So it really varies cup to cup, again, cafe to cafe, but generally speaking, you do get more milk here in the flat white. With the flat white, you also don't want to fill it the entire way. Like I said before, because there's less foam holding it together, it is a lot easier for it to spill when the barista is serving it to the table. So you want to just have it come right below the surface. You don't want to fill it up too high. For the latte, because you have slightly more padding added to the top, you can go and fill it right up to the surface, but you don't want to see it doming. These are the differences between dine-in flat whites and lattes. The moment you take these into a takeaway cup, forget everything I just said, because there is virtually no difference at all. A small takeaway cup, usually 6 to 8 ounces, sometimes 10, really is not going to have any difference. You're going to put the same amount of coffee, the same amount of milk, the same texture, and virtually no latte art. You're going to fill it up to the same height. There is no difference at all. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're watching from somewhere else around the world, I'd love to hear how you define these two. Let's get the comment section moving, and I'll see you in the next video.